Sat Shri Akal, everyone. Welcome to the Crypto Khalsa. And today with us is Chad, who is the chief of marketing at Kaspa. He's the ambassador. He's the guy who's really behind what Kaspa is all about nowadays. It's really an honor to get you, man. And thank you for giving your time.
Yeah,
Let's start off
thanks for having me.
with your some of your background. Could you tell us a bit about yourself and what a productive day to Chad looks like?
Sure. So the background question is probably separate than the day, or would you want to get
Yeah.
into that? So I'll do it quickly because it's actually a long story. But my background is I'm a high school dropout, and I decided to go back to school and enter into the pastoral ministry. So I was actually working with churches for my first half of my career. So I was a youth pastor and working with college crew, and then eventually working with creative communications, so with artists and helping with marketing and stuff for bigger churches. So that was my first half of my career, and then about 20 years ago, I stepped out of that and started a company called Rhubarb Media. And so that's the second half of my career has been corporate marketing and branding, naming and branding, and creative for companies all over the world. So the background stuff, it's very unique when people ask, what's your background? I come from a long line of pastors. My dad was a pastor, and my grandpa was a pastor. So that's kind of my upbringing. And then the last 20 years, I've been involved with Rhubarb Media, so corporate marketing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you founded Rhubarb Media back in 2006, and I was really taken back by your community give back, which is stated on your website. Could you like give us a bit of an overview about what is it all about? What motivated you to start this organization, and what is this community give back that you are talking about?
Yeah, sure. It's kind of a follow up of kind of my upbringing. So we've always been a giving community, a giving family. Being part of church work, you're always kind of like, there's a sacrifice, there's a giving to those that are in need, all those things. So when I started Rhubarb, my goal was to be a very successful company so that we could take some of those profits and allow them to be kind of overflow for us to give back to social organizations within our community for free. So we contribute every year. The percentage goes up as we increase in our revenues. We increase our percentage of give back. So we take on new clients that are local food banks or homeless initiatives, um, any kind of social resource center within our community. A lot of theater groups. We're an arts family, so a lot of my kids have all been through the arts program. So we take the opportunity of being a successful company and we offer in kind support to the social orgs in our community. And the reason why is I think should be for every company. You should have a give back philosophy. I don't want to just grow a successful company and be rich and my family's doing well and whatnot, and be inside a community that is suffering. So I want to be part of a vibrant community, and that means that we all have to do our part. And I think all corporations should have a give back philosophy. And if collectively we can share our wealth and our time, we can help solve a lot of problems within our community just by stepping up and offering a helping hand. So we've done that for the last 19 plus years, helping many organizations within our community and around the world.
Great answer. Um, let's talk a bit about your approach. You've built a unique name in brand marketing, and what sets it apart from traditional marketing practices?
So I think because I've never been to school for marketing or design, I have a unique perspective. I'm a consumer. I'm your perfect you know target market. So entering into this, I see everything from that point of view as opposed to someone who's got a lot of strategy, and I've learned how to do this, and here's the traditional marketing steps, 10 steps to whatever. I come at it from a very different point of view, and a lot of it's very relational. I find that marketing, traditional marketing, can be very force fed. It's can be a little too hard on the sale, and not so much about actually capturing an audience and meeting their needs, right? So our marketing strategy is really based around filtering everything we do through four things. And this is something you can write down and take with you in life. And this is not something that is new. I didn't make this up, myself. It's something that we call the hierarchy of needs. And we've all learned this probably, but everyone wants to be loved. So that's number one. They want to be unique. They want to have their gifts and abilities and skills to be seen and be used. They want to be safe and secure. They want to feel safe, and they want to belong. They want to be part of a community. And those four things, for me, I'd say everything you want to do in marketing, if you want to sell a product, a service, or a message, you need to touch on at least one of those things in order for the customer to find you, appreciate you, and like buy your product or buy your service. If you can tap into those emotional, relational, deep-seated needs of people, you'll have more than just a follower. You'll have a fan. And so it opens up a huge opportunity, but also it's a lot of strategy. You think, okay, I sell hamburgers. How do I make my customer feel loved? Or how do I make my customer feel unique? So you have to figure this out. But that's what we do. We help clients do that. So I work with real estate agents. I work with all kinds of different companies. They sell products, and I said you have to figure out how to touch people at those four core needs. And if you do one or two, you're going to win. So that's where we set ourselves apart from probably most marketing agencies, where we're not trying to jam some kind of like learned from school, top 10 list to how to reach a client. We come at it from a really hierarchy of need kind of thing. And that's what we bring to all our projects. And we can talk a little bit about how that happens within Kaspa as well. But that sets us apart. We hate selling. We hate shilling, hype, that kind of stuff. So it's really meeting people's needs is the goal.
So, in your view, good marketing is about story and emotion. Um, could you share a story from your career where this philosophy really shone through?
Yeah, there's many. I can give a couple examples. One, I think that comes to mind. We branded a company in our local town called Cope, COPE, and it's a company that provides dogs, help service animals to kids and adults that need support, and so it's called Cope Service Dogs. And they came to us and said, we need a logo. We need something to express who we are visually. And when I researched them, I realized, and they kept sending these pictures of like kids and adults hugging their dog, right? So all these photos were just this emotional connection to this service animal. And so the brand became that. It became this icon. It was very very simple and not overly complex, but of a person wrapping their arms around the dog. And when they started to share the brand story behind that, they realized that this is the actual brand. The brand isn't, a service that we provide to people. The brand is this support, this emotional connection, this ability to move beyond your barrier because of the amazing animals that are trained to be your support. And so the stories that came out of from the brand development to the videos and some of the testimonials just express that image. So that image of them hugging their dog, the emotion and the impact of that relationship changed their lives, changed the life of the person who had the dog, changed the life of the family and the community. So that's one aspect. We also had one client that came to us. Actually, it was a church project. They had to raise capital to redo their entire building. It was a $5 million capital campaign. And the marketing agency that they hired to raise the funds said, yeah, please do a video of you sitting behind your desk, talking about the things that you need and why you want the money and what you're going to put it towards. And I just was like, Wrong. I'm like, that's the most boring thing ever. And it doesn't have any emotion or story. So I talked to the pastor. I said, why don't you just tell me your story? Like, why are you a pastor? Why are you doing this? Why is it important to have this facility and those kind of things? And so we just interviewed him with audio, and then we recorded him at home. He actually lives on a farm, and he actually takes care of horses and cattle and whatnot. And he does this for his neighbors as well. So he's very much, a give back person, right? So we told the entire story. We didn't mention how much money was needed to be raised. We didn't show a picture of the building. We didn't talk about any of the needs. We just said, here's the campaign and here's why we need to contribute. And they raised those funds in the shortest amount of time ever. And it was all through story and emotion. So those are two examples I think are really, emulate what we're trying to do with all our work.
Let's go back to late 2016 when
Okay.
you entered into the crypto and the blockchain space. And back then, we researched that you were doing brand marketing for Pivx. So, what drew you to this industry exactly?
Well, kind of like symbolically, I mean, it was talking about relationships. It was from a friend of mine that just said, hey, I need help. And he actually was part of the Dash community that had a little bit of a split. That was a big split. One half the community went one way and the other half went the other. So he went the other way, and they wanted to establish themselves as a privacy coin, and they wanted to do it different. And so he said, we need help. So we went through a naming process with them and came up with PIVX, private. Was it PIVX private? I forget now. Virtual transaction, private instant virtual transaction. So Pivx, and it was a very unique name, 4 letters. We had the domain; it was perfect, and then we did the brand as well. And so that was the initial introduction to that. Was just like a friend, but I was also very intrigued. I was always skeptical of crypto, because I've never done it before. And this guy's like Dash, and I'm like, what's Dash? I thought there was only Bitcoin, and so I was like thrown in the deep end. Is like, wow, there's like, back then maybe, I don't know, 300-400 coins or something, I forget. But it was like, well, this is really interesting. And I also started to research the communities and realized it's kind of a hot mess, like like the marketing, the communities can be very dark, lots of emotion, lots of negative emotion, lots of people calling each other names and of their mothers, and just like, wow. And so this is unique because from my pastoral background, I'm like, wow, I could I could come in here and really be a help if, from a counseling perspective, because you get, fast forward a little bit. I was in chats with some people, and like one in the Asian community, like they were talking about suicide, and they were talking about, just like really hard stuff. And so I kind of became a, you know, crypto pastor, within some of these communities. But that's kind of what drew me in a little bit as well. Is just like, wow, this is a community that needs help from a marketing side, for sure. But also is like, wow, I see some deep hurt and some lots of things that I think I'd like to change within the blockchain space. The Get rid of the, not suitable for work channels. Like, let's make it inclusive. Let's, a lot of crypto bros, not very many crypto babes. Like it was very male centric, and lots of anger and heat. So that's kind of what drew me in, is a little bit of like, this is a challenge. I'd like to dive into this a little bit more.
So, let's talk about a bit of the challenges that you faced when you started marketing in the crypto space, and how does it really differ from traditional branding and marketing in other industries?
Yeah. So as we know, the big word is decentralization, and some people apply that to everything within the project, including marketing, including getting stuff done. I'm more of a purist as it relates to decentralization, related to like the code and the currency and the that side of it. I tell people all the time. I said, you try and raise your family decentralized. Like it's not going to work. Somebody's got to be the law. Somebody's got to lay it down. Your kid's not going to say, we're decentralized. I can do what I want. So I think the mentality around it as a 100% decentralized is incorrect. It can't work. That's not how our society works. We do need people that the buck stops there. They make the decisions, and there's a trusted community that supports it. So when I came into this space, it was very unique that way, where you're like, wow, a lot of people are, in the crypto community, there are no bosses, and yet, you know, in these spaces, there's everyone in the community is the boss, right?
Everyone
So
is zero.
you're like, yeah, who's going to listen to me, whatever. So I think that was part of the challenge, is to be like, how do we create and they hate these words, an authoritative brand, and a voice, an authoritative voice of the brand, in a good way, in a community that sees those words as just like the devil. So it's unique in how we've been able to shape the narrative to say, yeah, I'm not your boss, and I'm not the boss, and though I have a marketing title, I made it up, like, but when it comes to the Kaspa way, like if we talk about Kaspa soon, um, you know, we have to have some guidelines and some boundaries, and hate the word if you want, some rules, and just and those. So those are kind of the things that I had to like wrestle through, and sometimes try and convince people like, no, this is okay. It's not that I'm a boss or anything, but there's a group of people here that are really trying to lead, and please trust us. We have your best interests in mind. Um, but we're going to make some decisions on behalf of the community, with the community support and votes. But yeah, the decentralized term was something to kind of hurdle over. But I think we'll work. I think it's working.
You mentioned you don't like to engage in shilling and hype based marketing. Can you expand on why you think this approach can be detrimental and how you focus on building genuine community and fans?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things when I entered crypto. I thought, well, we need to change this. I think if we're going to launch a community with a crypto project, let's do it with genuine, no promises. We'll talk about the tech and how it's advancing, but we're not going to overhype things. You're also talking about people's money, and that's a huge responsibility. That's a weight that's upon the developers. Every time they develop, as they keep going, they're like, wow, like if this breaks, people could lose millions, right? So there's a huge responsibility on the community and on the devs and whatnot. If you think about it from that way, but so if we shill and we hype, we're really just, it's almost like fake news in a way. Like we're really getting people excited about a future that is unknown, and I think that's wrong. I think that's, especially when it comes to financial, services, you can't pretend, you can't project, and you shouldn't promise if you can't deliver. And even if you can deliver, I just think these types of hype and price focused marketing initiatives are just dangerous. And on the other side, if you build a community, a product based on tried and trusted, product, like the code, the developers. If I don't know if you saw the tweet today from Michael, I actually re-quoted it as a quote of the day. But the whole idea of slow and steady, is needed in order to create something that's fast and reliable, right? And that's the Caspo way. And I think though I inherited the philosophy when I joined the community, I've been a huge advocate for, let's do this right. Let's take it slow. It's ready when it's ready, and it's tested 1,000 times, and we're not going to hype. So if you look at our channels, like, we don't talk about price. Um, a spike, we'll get a spike in the charts, and everybody's going crazy, right? They're all to the moon. They're riding green candles. They're whatever they're doing. There's Lambos and everything. And our social channel is just like, yeah, the next thing we quote is Michael Sutton's quote, right? It's like, we're not going to ride that hype. And I think what it's done is it attracts the kind of people that we want to be part of the project. Because if you're just attracting people that want to make money fast, they're not really totally committed to the vision. They're committed to their wallet. And so they get excited, these projects that hype and show. Their followers are huge and but when the price drops, they're gone. They're on to the next meme coin. Whereas in Kaspa, I think we've grown the community around a solid vision and a solid, focus on growing something that's going to impact the world for a long time. And to do that, we can't be about the minute by minute refreshing the charts and hyping, price. So that's where I think the philosophy of not hyping or shilling has really worked well for Kaspa. And we did the same with other projects as well. We're just like, let's not fool people or try and hype them up. Let's create genuine followers, and not just followers, fans. That's the difference, I think, is you can get a lot of followers with hype, but you create a lot of fans if you can show yourself as to be trusted and that the product can be trusted. And that just takes time. And over time, I think Kaspa has proven it. We have a long way to go, but I think even now, I would say it's a highly successful project, even at the state we're in. And people are complaining, why didn't you start with smart contracts? And why didn't it's like these guys know, like, I trust the devs a lot. They know what they're doing. And, when it comes to like, why didn't you do this or that? I'm like, these guys know what they're doing. And they've been delivering, month after month, year after year. They're delivering, and they're already ahead of the schedule for Crescendo. So it's just like, why do we need to hype and shill when we can just celebrate the progress that we've done and, keep growing the community, keep growing adoption. So that's the goal.
So one thing I think which meme coin gave to the crypto space is that get rich quick scheme that everyone really opted into. And I think when you have this philosophy of getting rich slowly, that's what gives your digestive process a bit more time to process things. And that is what you really need eventually. And I think that's what I really liked about Caspa when I started to support it. No one talks about this coin going to $100. All we are focused on is about tech, only tech. Why is it better than Bitcoin or any other technology that is currently in the market? Proof of stake or proof of work, whatever. Caspa is doing much, much better than what other people are doing at the moment. So, final question about you and about Rhubarb Media that I would really want to understand personally as well and for the audience as well. So, you've had a good working experience with a range of products, starting from PIVX to Caspa currently. How do you decide which projects align with your marketing philosophy and what do you look for in a project before jumping on board? And once you're on board, I think you don't really leave unnecessarily, unless and until they have really left their initial vision, which they really talk to you about. So you're a man of your words, and you're an honorable man. So tell me a bit about your strategy.
Yeah. So I guess the biggest filter first is it a real world project? Like, is this something that's going to impact a wide range of people over a long period of time? So I'm not against meme coins. I just think it's crypto land. And I always say, like, I ask people, have you ever been to Disneyland? And they're like, yeah. And I said, a day there is fun, but you wouldn't want to live there. So I see crypto land as that, where you could just play in crypto land and trade coins and, have fun and chill and hype and meme yourself to death and all these characters in, suits and stuff. But I look for real world. So I go outside of crypto land and look around the world and go, the financial world, the healthcare, logistics, energy markets, those kind of things, and also the opportunity to build really cool, apps and dApps and really build the developing community to create stuff that's needed in the world. So that's my filter. That's a big one. It's like, is this a real world project that's going to fulfill a real world need? So Kaspa is, it hits the bullseye for that because it's meant to be a common currency, but also a digital ledger technology that will power many, many enterprise markets. So that's probably the biggest one. The also is the community, and also I think something that really attracted me to Kaspa was the developers. Being part of the crypto community since 2016, I've been around a lot of developer communities, and had some really good relationships. But I found overall that there's a pedigree that's out there when it relates to good developing teams and average ones, or those that are just in their basement working away by themselves. So if you take a look at Kaspa, and when I first was introduced to Jonathan as a founder and Michael and Shai and all the developing team, I'm like, wow, these guys are. I mean, they're doctors, they're computer scientists, like. So I was like, wow, if I'm going to trust and if I'm going to join a project, I want to join these guys. Like, these are the best of the best. The other side of it being, a relational person and someone who sees, the hierarchy of needs kind of thing. I saw the developing team as people that were very humble and didn't want to be in the spotlight. They just wanted to create awesome product, code, tech. And I'm very attracted to that type of personality who, in a sense, just wants to give back and just create something that changes the world, and not want to, grab the mic and grab the spotlight. And so those are a few things that really attract me to projects.
So you're attracted to honorable nerds. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you
People who have value, who want to give out to the world, and they don't really like limelight. I don't see Jonathan go here and there a lot. He's mostly focused on the research that he likes to do. And that's what really makes them unique, because in this space everyone jumps off to conferences like anything, right? They just want to talk and talk, and no one is really focused on the development part, because this is a nerdy business. It's not a marketing business, right? uh, the technology does the marketing for itself. So let's talk more about the ambassador program that you launched for Kaspa. What was the inspiration behind it, and what do you really hope to achieve with the ambassadors and their role in marketing?
So the ambassadors are really our marketing wing. I mean, if you want to just name what is marketing for Caspa, it's our ambassadors, and that's very different than most projects and probably a lot of companies that do a lot of advertising and they pay for ads and they pay for KOLs and they do all this stuff. We really see our ambassadors as the outreach arm of Caspa. And now, so why are we doing this? Why do we say this? Um, we see the philosophy of reaching people about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology as a arduous task. It's very confusing. People who are entering into this for the first time are like, what is this? All they know that they might hear Bitcoin and they might think, oh, I've heard of that. And didn't somebody, ransomware or something, or wasn't wasn't there a scam, or didn't some exchange run off with money? Like, their perception, their idea of cryptocurrency and blockchain is very scary and negative. So that's one thing. The other is the technology around it. What is this digital currency? Why, how can you have value into something that's really nothing, and blah, blah, blah. So I found, and when you're trying to convince someone of something that's very technical, the best way to do that is to do it peer to peer, and to hear it from someone you trust in your language, culturally specific. And the only way we can do that is if we work with ambassadors around the world who can speak the language of their people and can contextualize, what crypto means within their culture. And so we equip ambassadors, we give them resource tools in their language, and we set them free. And this is different than a lot of projects that they would call, they have an ambassador program, because we get people trying to apply to our ambassador program. They're like, I'm a KOL and I have, 100,000 followers. And so you need me as an ambassador. We're like, you're the least person that we we need. We need someone who's on the ground, who understands Caspa and who has a knowledge base that's, that's good. Not, you don't have to have full tech knowledge, but they can meet people. So it's really centered around personal meetups, and going to conferences and, being there, and also helping with adoption with merchants. And again, merchants are just like, what is this cryptocurrency? Like, why would I accept it? How can I accept it? And this sounds like a scam, blah, blah, blah. So you're not gonna convince any of those people through advertising or watch this crypto KOL guy telling you should adopt Caspa. It's gonna be, someone who lives down the street, who walks in, talks to you about the currency, maybe shows you how to accept it on their wallet. Like, wow, that's really fast. And like, yeah, and it's in your wallet right now, and you can actually spend it right now. And and those are steps that can only be taken on a relational peer-to-peer type scenario, culturally relevant, in their language. So when we launched the ambassador program, it was really just me going, we don't have a traditional marketing campaign. We don't have the money or the budget to advertise, but we actually think that the ambassador program, the way that it was started and the philosophy behind it, is way more effective than some of these projects that have spent millions on ads. And it's a slow and steady growth. Like people are like, who cares about these meetups with 12 people in a bar? And I'm like, I do, because those are 12, people that get it, and they're going to tell 12 people, and so on, right? And then you multiply that by, you know, by the time I kind of handed over the ambassador program to Luke from Australia, we had about 32 ambassadors around the world, and it was just becoming overwhelming. So I needed help. But they were having meetups, every month. They were going to conferences. They were, having AMAs themselves. They would launch stuff like our UK ambassador launched a Rock the Caspa YouTube channel. And so it just really started to explode. And I think we're well over 50 ambassadors now. Thousands have applied, but only a few have gotten in, because you have to be a special person to be a Caspa ambassador, and it's not about being a hyper shill or KOL. It's about being a real person in your community that can share, the good news about Caspa.
Let's talk about your measurement of success of marketing gapping. Let's talk about Caspa in that way, especially in a fast-paced crypto and blockchain world. Are there any specific metrics or feedbacks that you prioritize?
Yeah, so I guess that's another aspect of me not being, schooled in marketing and whatnot. And even as a studio ourselves, we focus a lot on content. And so we hire, people to do the metrics on how we doing. But in Caspa, to me, it's simple. I mean, adoption is the metric. And so how many, even in this early stage with no point of sale tools, how many merchants have signed on and started to be early adopters? How many ambassadors have signed up? How many people have downloaded wallets? How many people show up? I mean, at the last event we've had, which is it's indicative of the events that we've been at. Our booth has been like packed. I mean, like like three queues of people lining up to talk to, two people or whatever. Um, and so that's to me, that's the measure of success. The increase in those that are interested in translating the battle cards, like a simple little thing like that. I think we have 17 languages, maybe more than that, of translating our resources into different languages. That's success, right? Now you can look at the price and see the value increase. That's good. I mean, we need that to happen, but the real thing is adoption. And the latest kind of really big measurements probably was when the Caspa Ecosystem Foundation came on board. These were, a group of companies that said, we want to invest in Caspa. We know that you're a community funded project. You can't do all these events without bigger capital. So let's start a world tour. And so without organization like KEF, we couldn't be in Australia or Hong Kong or Singapore. So that to me is like, okay, that's successful because we, the community, the tech, the marketing, if you want to call it, has attracted enough attention that these larger corporations are like, we're going to invest, hundreds of thousands of dollars to make this happen. And the latest one with the Kaspa Industrial Initiative, KII, they're the ones that are looking at enterprise markets. And so they saw Kaspa and went, wow, we've been looking for a technology like this for years. And as we've been trying to figure out how to help, the energy sector transfer data and whatnot and measure things and all this stuff that needs to happen within all these markets. So they nodded. They said, okay, well, let's check out Kaspa. I think Shy was the first one that was introduced to them. And, ended up at a big conference in Dublin. They're talking about some amazing visions, lots of dreams. But in the enterprise market world, the real world, things will take time because you're looking at very archaic, antiquated type, system. To me, that's successful. I think, on a personal level, I'm still here. I feel like, I think we're doing a decent job, but, overall, it's just the adoption and the attraction that Caspa has. You can look at the markets and say, yeah, we're, top, whatever, 40 coin, top 30. That's great. But really it's the adoption and the other entities that are coming in and taking a look at Caspa and not just saying, oh yeah, good job. They're like, how can we help? And this is help from a large level. This isn't just like, a couple people helping out here and there. These are major players within the world market that are looking to take Caspa and plug it into the world.
Let's like know more about you and about your journey so far. And what would you say that has been like one instance that you would be really proud of, one achievement that you would really be proud of, and looking forward, what next? What's next for you and Rhubarb Media? Are there any new exciting projects or exciting initiatives on the horizon?
So we're specifically talking about Caspa here, things I'm proud of within the project. Um, I would say the ambassador program is one that we're super proud of, and it's growing. And I've been able to hand it off to talented and energetic people. I'm still involved as a consultant, whatever, but I'm super proud of that and seeing that grow. There'll be thousands of ambassadors around the world. So right now we're just getting started, and I'm super excited about that. I love these little initiatives that pop up, and I can just kind of give them a little bit of gas and some fuel, and they go. I would say like Rock the Caspa was one that I love these guys. Two bros from the UK, really funny and witty, and just encouraging them to say, you guys need to start this channel, and off they went. And so I think we're on episode 10 now. And the Rhubarb Media, we support them just through some production. So super proud about those guys. What's to come? I think for me, I think the stuff that's going to happen within enterprise markets is something I'm really excited about. So I would like to see the first step towards something that's totally real world and a case study that will pop up. So whether it's in the energy market, some sort of microgrid system that's powered by Caspa. I don't know if you recall back in the day, Intel Inside, the little sticker Intel
About
Inside.
that campaign, yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that's a brilliant campaign because Intel it was a tech company and nobody knew anything, and they were in all these products, right? And so they came up with this idea, and wow, it's huge. I see Caspa Inside or powered by Caspa, and I think the real success down the road, maybe it's 10 years down the road, is that we're just going to be doing life. And if you really dug deep under the cover of some of the things that you pay with, or you pay your energy bill, or you're traveling and you're paying, that you don't even know that there's a Caspa ledger underneath it, right? or or that the actual currency is a well accepted digital currency. But just that Caspa inside, I think would be I could I really could be. It'd make me smile to know that all these people around the world don't even know they're using it, but it's there, right?
Let's say supercharged by Kaspa. That sounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's powered by Caspa. It's supercharged. It's there. Yeah.
So let's talk about your personal life, Chad. And as you the blockchain space never really sleeps. So how do you really manage your work-life balance? And do you have any personal routines that you would like to share that helps you unwind?
Yeah, because you it's that's a good question how you say unwind, because you do get wound up when you're when you're in the crypto space. Lots of emotion, lots of deadlines and timelines, and everyone's demanding. And I think for marketing, we become the scapegoat for a lot of things. When marketing and something's going wrong, how come you guys aren't doing stuff? So you that does build up in you, and you do need to release that. For me, and I've done this over the years with all my clients, my evenings and my weekends are somewhat sacred. So I've trained clients to not call me after 6, and mostly on the weekends you just can't find me. And I try hard to leave my computer at work on weekends. So I just shut the door and I go home, and I spend time with my family. So now my family has changed. I have 3 adult kids now who are out of the house. So I'm spending time with my wife and working with the community, working with my local church, volunteering. I do actually, not obviously not now with the season, but I have a backyard garden, so I love digging in the dirt. I like growing vegetables. I like building things with pallet wood. I'm a singer songwriter, guitar acoustic guitar player, so I'll pick up the guitar once in a while. So those are
Everyone in Kaspa
I think
knows
there
how to
is
play
a strategy where
guitars.
a lot of us are musicians. It's interesting.
So about your passion apart from marketing or branding, if you weren't working in the branding or the marketing niche, what other field or career would you have pursued?
Yeah, I didn't realize it, but I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. Being in one company for 20 years is kind of like I get a little bit itchy of like I need to do something else. Um, but it, but initially and all through my career, I've always wanted to help people. And this past few years, I've started an initiative and joined some others in working on affordable housing, and specifically around tiny home community development, and realizing there's a missing product in the market, and that's smaller houses, because nobody can afford the houses that are there. So I think I could see myself transitioning into some sort of advocacy role for helping people, coming out of homelessness, or those that are coming down off the top, whether it's seniors or others, how to downsize and to live in like what we call right size housing. So that's one thing. I may actually go back into ministry. That could be down the road as well, helping people with life. It's we're living in a hard world, a harsh world. I'd love to see people be built up and equipped, and giving them the insights, the strength, the words of encouragement to improve their lives, because that's going to improve our world. So I'd probably be move into those areas, and who knows? It's um, I think after 20 years, anyone in a company kind of goes, "What's next?" Or what could I do different? So that's kind of the where I'm at in my life. My kids are all older and out of the house, so we're thinking about what's next for us. So I think those two could be the potential.
One thing that I've realized in life, the more successful you are, it's more about the ability of you handling success and stress. Uh, and the better you are at handling stress, the better, the more successful you will be. So it boils down to that ability. And the one thing that tradition teaches us, or our religion teaches us, is the ability to unwind. And that's one thing that I really liked about Michael. Obviously, I liked a lot of things about it. This is one of the things that I liked about it is his Shabbat routine. He unwinds on a Friday, and he just goes off. He blacks off. He switches off his electronics, and all everything he cares about for that one day is his family tradition and religion, and it really helps you unwind. In a strange way, it makes you more human. It makes you more humble, because the more you realize that eventually we all are just humans, mere humans.
Yeah. I encourage people to take a Shabbat. I mean, you don't have to be, part of the Jewish faith to have a respite. We in our faith, our weekends are kind of our Sabbath. But I always tell people, no matter what you believe in, you should at least take a day off of everything and unplug. And once a month you should take 2 to 3 days off, and every year you should take a couple of weeks off. Like we need rest. I mean, there's something about it that our bodies, we have to sleep. That's the daily thing that we do to heal our bodies and to refresh ourselves, is to rest. But even our waking brains need that as well. And so, yeah, I encourage people to take a Sabbath every week, and create some barriers around life. I tell people, like, they're always anxious, like, when's my logo going to be done? I'm like, it's not going to affect your life if your logo doesn't get done today. How about tomorrow? Like, this isn't life changing stuff here at this moment. But I try and help my clients to be stressless as well, and just to have them kind of give that deep breath as it's okay. I got this. But yeah, I think you're right. We're wound up tight, especially in this world. What's going on around the world, and we need time away. And it's that solo time that you spend, either with yourself or your family, or with your God, that you do. It's like a recentering, right? It's like you go through your day and you kind of meander off the North Star, right? You're just like, you're not quite following it. And then you take this rest, this Sabbath, and you find yourself, realigned, and you're like, okay, tomorrow I'm good to go. I've got my focus. So, and if you don't do that, then you continue to meander and you wind yourself up so tight that you just explode. So take a rest.
And I'm really glad that Kaspa is in your hands, man. With the kind of it just makes me more calm when I'm speaking to you, and that is something that I would really like to share. It's about your nature. It's about your gratitude towards life. That anyone who speaks to you becomes calmer, and I think that reflects in the ideology of Kaspa as well. The Shillers are going to remain Shillers. They are in the lottery business. They are going to be anxious all the time, and I just want to tell this to them through this podcast, maybe. Relax. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. Take a breath. It's okay. It's a good technology. They are here for a longer run. Don't shill it. Don't consider this as a meme coin, which is going to be drained out of liquidity. So they have all the liquidity in the world. So just relax. It's okay. The final question, Chad, that I would want you for the kind of personality that you have. If you could give one advice to someone just starting in marketing or crypto, what would it be?
I mean, I think you probably ended with it good. Is like, just relax. I think that's that's good within the crypto world. Like, just chill out. And but I would probably go back to the beginning of what I mentioned about the hierarchy of needs. It's like, if anybody wants to learn about marketing or do marketing better, start with people's need and then build your marketing around that. Don't start with your product and the thing that you think they need, and how you're going to jam it down their throats, and please buy this now because you need it. Understand your audience at that core level, and help them to be loved, to be unique, to be safe, and to belong. That's
That's something that the world needs right now. So, ending on this, thank you, Chad, for the wonderful time. It was a great podcast. I feel a lot calmer now talking to you, and I think becoming a pastor or drawing, like, since you're drawn towards your religion and you stick to your religion, it makes you a better man. And I'm glad we talked, man. I see Caspa is in really good hands, and you are really doing a great work there. And I see that great presentation that you're giving. So thank you for your time, Chad. Until next time,
Yeah,
keep up the
thanks.
good work. All the very best for. See you.
Thanks.